Hey YouTube, hope you're all well. So I've been putting this off for a while. I've done a few sort of sneaky videos talking about this guitar when I hadn't really yet worked out how it works. I've sort of worked it out enough to do a demo video of it now. I've just been copping out of it a little bit. The videos I did do, I put temporary on them, so I didn't pull them off YouTube. I just put them unlisted. So I will put the unlisted links in the comments in the description thing below if you really want to look at them and watch me trying to fumble about trying to make this thing work. So this is part one. I'm going to try and keep it down to about 10 minutes, and it's basically I'm just going to talk about the guitar as if it didn't have the MIDI bit in it. Right, so this is a Casio MIDI guitar, built-in MIDI guitar to MIDI converter, as it says so in the headstock. So it's a Strat. There was another model of this. This is an mg510. It's written on it there. There's also an mg500, which is looks a bit like a spaceship. It's a really cool looking one, but I can sort of see why this one was more popular because it just looks like a regular Strat. The other one's kind of a bit more. It's hard to describe other than saying it looks a bit more spaceshipy. It's a bit more what you would expect to be a MIDI guitar. You know, just looking at it, it's very futuristic. Whereas this is just a Strat. It does have a slightly pointy headstock, which actually reminds me very much of, I've got a West-Tone Concord. No, it's not there. Which is a very similar headstock to this. But this is basically a Fujigen built 1986 Strat. And if you look up 1986 Fender Strats, you'll see that they were made in Fujigen as well. So basically this is a 1986 Fender Strat, but it says Casio on the headstock as opposed to saying Fender on it, which obviously makes it worth much less. And looking at the prices of the Fender version, they're like 800 quid odd, and some of them are even more than that. So these don't cost as much as that. So basically, even if you buy, I bought this one not working, for very little, for less than a Squire, less than any new Squire, and then got it fixed. Thanks to Frettronics for doing that in Glasgow. He's a nice guy. So yes, this is probably the most Fender Strat I've got. It's an HSS lineup, as you can see. Got a volume, a tone, 5-way lever as you'd expect, and this is a coil split switch for the humbucker. As you can see, it doesn't have the jack on the front, it's on the end. There's other gubbins on the end as well. But you can just plug this in as a Strat, not using the MIDI thing at all, and it's just a Strat. It's got, I think those are Go-Top tuners, the same made in Japan on the back of them. It's got a very Fendery neck on it because they were making Fenders at the same time, so basically it's a Fender. What they should have done was do a deal with Fender and Casio. Should have been a Fender, Casio, blah blah blah, and then it would have had the Fender headstock, and these things would be absolutely like gold dust. People would really want them, whereas they didn't, and people don't want one that says Casio on it. Casio at the time weren't the sort of cheapy keyboard making company that they are now. I mean, this is the keyboard, the top of the range one at the time. You know, I mean, these things probably cost £1,000 or something like that. This guitar was ridiculously expensive at the time. It was like more than a Les Paul, easily, because it's got the extra gubbins in it, and because it was so expensive. I think eventually, like after a couple of years, they were actually selling these at a loss, and they were still not selling because, I don't know, maybe people don't want to play synthesizer with their guitar. I don't know, or aren't willing to pay for it, or they want. I mean, Roland. So this has got like a. You can see it's got a MIDI pickup in it, which you can still get in guitars these days. Just like you get like a Roland Ready one. This is actually a Roland pickup apparently. The difference being the shit's inside the guitar, but this is just a guitar demo. It's got a 2-point tremolo on it, with a big block on the back, which you can't see because it's got the back cover on it. Going by the way these are scuffed down, I think these are brass saddles. I don't imagine this trem arm is original. I'd imagine the original would have been black, but it fits, so I didn't bother touching it. So yes, this is my probably closest to a Fender Strat I've actually got. So I'm just going to do a wee demo of some of the sounds it makes. So using my wee Blaney VC15, unfortunately because of where this keyboard is, I'm kind of having to stand in front of it, between it and the mic. So it might be a bit muffled if I stand here and less muffled if I stand here. Put a bit of reverb just for... That's the neck pickup, so position 5. Sorry, position 1. And then position 4, which would be these two, like your... middle pickup. Position 4, which I'm not sure whether this is in humbucker mode or not. It isn't now. Now if you put this into a humbucker. Bridge pickup in humbucker. I really don't like having reverb on. If I put it in a single coil. But like those soft picks. Bridge bucker. So you get the idea. I'm trying to keep this down to 10 minutes. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do another video in a minute talking about the MIDI functions. This guitar, there's a slightly more expensive one, which is called a 700, I think, an mg510, which has a built-in synthesizer. It doesn't have a built-in great synthesizer. It's got a built-in 2-up if you're into the synth thing. Sort of Casio Portatone type thing built into it. It's also got the MIDI converter, but so it's actually got like an extra unit on the front with like 8 sounds on it. It might be more than that. Like a basic synthesizer, so it can actually output. You can plug it straight into your guitar amp and actually play synth without needing something to plug it into to make it work as a synth. Is it maybe called a PG something? Not sure, but JJ Cale, fantastic and underrated bluesy player who didn't do particularly well. He did like 2 or 3 albums in the late 60s, early 70s, I think, and released them. I mean, they're brilliant, and he basically gave up on music and became I think he was a wallpaper or an interior decorator, and then one day he got a check through the post, like a royalties check for his song Cocaine, because Eric Clapton covered it, and it was like pure 10 grand or something. He was like, fuck, bah! So he came back out of retirement and started doing albums again. He wrote Cocaine. He's got a really amazing sort of laid back. He's brilliant. I mean, I don't really like slow blues. He's not really bluesy. It's kind of really laid back, and he's amazing. Check out some JJ Cale. Yeah, so he came back out of retirement. He also did. There's a few of his songs. Call Me the Breeze by Leonard Skinner is also a JJ Cale song. Cocaine. After Midnight, another Clapton one. So basically, it's because of Clapton covering his songs that he did more. But to get to the point of, so look up JJ Cale. He's awesome. He's got some brilliant. I mean, most of his stuff's brilliant. He used one of these, or he used it, as I was saying, the one that's got the extra synthesizer part on it, which is basically exactly the same guitar in every way, apart from instead of just outputting MIDI, it outputs. You can use the internal cheapy 2-up synthesizer. A 2-up would be like a Yamaha DX7. The way that synthesis works is called, is it FM synthesis? FM synthesis, I think it's called. It's instead of having like oscillators, it's got operators, and a DX7 has 6 operators, so 6 things you can apply to the original sine wave to make your sound. The DX27, which you'll have seen me using in one of the videos down there, and the DX21 are 4-up, so they're sort of 2/3 of a DX7, and then the sort of Portatone type ones are only 2-up, so you've got 2. It's kind of like oscillators, but they're not oscillators. Varying things. It's a different way of doing synthesis. Has got one built in. But JJ Cale played a white Casio, for years as his main guitar. He didn't use it as a MIDI controller, I don't think, but he just used it as a guitar because it's a great guitar. So that should be to tell you what sort of guitar the actual just guitar part of it is, which is what this video is about. Yeah. So rocking. So I will be back in 2 minutes. I'm going to turn on this thing with this plugged in, and I'll go over what this does. So basically everything this does is a guitar. It's just a guitar. There is a switch here, like a rhythm treble switch, that is guitar and MIDI output, or MIDI output, and it's got a volume control for the MIDI output. So everything you can do with a guitar, you can always do with a guitar, because I've got the guitar plugged into a wee laney there, and I've got the synth plugged into, I'm going to plug it into that bass amp. Ideally it should probably just be like a PA or something like that, but bass amp's kind of close enough. So see you shortly. Rock on.